All right, thanks for coming out tonight to IMPROVology. Tonight we have two renowned nationally and internationally recognized experts, Beth Pratt Bergstrom, who is an expert on P22 and the California, is it president of the National Wildlife Federation? Executive Director of the California National Wildlife Federation, and Justin O. Schmidt, the author of Sting of the Wild. You've seen him on Jimmy Kimmel and you've heard him on NPR. Put your hands together for our scientists. Actually, come on in, scientists. And our cast, you remember him from Whose Line Is It Anyways? Mr. Mike McShane. And long-form improvisational comedy specialist Brian Lohman. She was recently murdered on Fargo, Kelly Holden Bashar. And our gaucho, hometown favorite, UCSB alum, Mr. Stephen Kieran. Stephen says he never set that couch on fire in UCSB. All right, by round of applause, how many of you have been to an IMPROVology show before? By round of applause, for how many of you is this the first time? All right. So this is a unique blend of comedy and science, and every show we try to prove for the equation that art plus science equals comedy squared, or as I like to say, art plus science equals comedy for squares. Thank you. And I also want to let you know your voices are going to be used without your permission on our podcast, www.zoo radio. Actually, let's send an official greeting to all the folks listening to Zoo Radio out there. Can you give a round of applause for people listening? No joke, from Greece, the Russian Federation, Laos, and one person from Cuba. All right, so can I have our scorekeeper, Doug, come join me on stage? Doug, do you have the bag with you? Okay. So this is a competitive format. It is insects versus mountain lions tonight. We have 3 judges. We'll start with the Executive Director of Improv Santa Barbara, Mr. Dan Gunther. Dan will be our technical judge. If we perform an improv game, yes, he will be very technical, probably our toughest judge of all. Mr. Rich Block is the CEO of the beautiful Santa Barbara Zoo. And Rich will be our entertainment judge. Was Rich entertained? And finally, last but not least, hometown favorite, John Palmentary. TV3, get it? TV3? All right. So John will be our narrative judges because he is a journalist. So he'll be judging narrative, entertainment, and technical. Now, folks, we will be coming to you from time to time for suggestions. Doug, do we want simple or complicated suggestions?
Simple.
So if I were to say, what's in my hand, you might say? An apple, okay? We don't need to go to Disneyland. We don't need to go to Starbucks. We don't need to go to the moon. Simple suggestions. Also, from time to time, as this is all improvised, something might slip out from our subconscious that we otherwise wished had not slipped out. Not from here. No, I think Steven's worn the bag before, and so has Brian Lohman. So if one of the actors says something that you consider offensive or rude, I want you to shout out bag. Try that for me. 1, 2, 3. Bag. Oh, you can do that better than that. 1, 2, 3. All right, and the offending player will wear the bag on their head in the next scene and justify its use in the course of the scene. All right, thank you, Doug. Let's have Justin Schmidt come on up. So Justin's book, Sting of the Wild, is absolutely outstanding. Justin, how many times have you been stung in the course of your work?
I kind of ran out of fingers and toes a long time ago, so once I get past that, I just say, well, how many? Well, what's a big number? What do you think's a big number? 79. How about a bigger number? 1,000. Let's go with 1,000.
Stung
That
over
sounds
1,000
good.
times for science. By approximately how many different species have you been stung?
Oh, well, let's see. What's a big number? No, I'll make it a little bit easier for you. It's about 150 and 83 different groups. So, if I get stung by a couple of cousins, they're counted as one. The cousins are sort of similar. So there's 83 sets of cousins that sting me, maybe about 150 in total. So, yeah, it's ran out of fingers and toes a long time ago.
So he published the Schmidt pain scale from 1 to 4. Now, where is a honeybee on 1 to 4?
Honeybees, 2.
So that's kind of like your C. That's your C-level student, right?
Yes, a 2.
Okay. So at the back of your book, Sting of the Wild, you describe some of these stings, and I printed out a copy for you. Will you read one or two of your descriptions?
By all means.
Okay.
Let's see, what do we have here? How about a yellow fire wasp, Agelea myrmecophila? An odd, distressing pain. A tiny blowtorch kisses your arms and legs. Sting pain 2.5.
So where does a fire ant, many of us have been stung by a fire ant, where does that rank on the scale?
Oh, fire ant's pretty wimpy. That's only a 1.
That's only a 1 for anybody that's ever been stung by a fire ant.
So if you
okay?
get stung by about 20 fire ants, that'll equal one of the yellow firetail wasps.
All right, so I'm going to have the 4 actors come up on stage. This is our toss-up challenge to see who gets to go first.
Yeah.
So come on down to the front. Kids are going to be our judges, okay?
Yes. Is that right? Hi, welcome to the stage.
Hi, welcome.
Hi.
Welcome
Don't
up
let them
front.
bother
Hi,
you.
welcome to this side of the stage.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Be sure to pick us. Pick our side. Thank you.
enough politicking. Stop it.
all right.
Enough. Have a
You
seat,
look
kid.
beautiful. All you kids look beautiful
Yeah.
tonight.
There we go.
Okay, Steven,
Nice birthday.
Yes.
tell us the name of your imaginary insect
My imaginary
that
insect
stung you.
that stung me. Oh, it was known as the cobra butterfly.
And the Latin name?
Its Latin name is Flotartus venomous.
Yeah, remember that.
Yeah.
And now, what body part, if you can say, where did it
What
sting
body
you?
part? I was bit on the nose. My nose used to be much smaller, very petite. But now, look at this, thanks to the venomous bite. Anyway, you guys understand. I
And
don't
what
need
did
to
it
go
what
on.
did it feel like? Can you describe
On a
it? Put it in-
scale? Oh, I ran out of fingers and toes a long time ago. Pick something that's really painful, like getting hit with an iron. It felt like getting hit by an iron.
Okay, the cobra butterfly.
on.
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Yes.
tell us the name of the insect that stung you.
Oh.
Its Latin name and what it felt like.
It was the Misha Barton.
Barton?
Wow, how did that happen?
Okay, the Misha
Very
Barton.
glamorous. A very glamorous bug.
And what's the Latin name for the
The
Misha
Latin
Barton?
name is Glamouroso chacunda.
Okay. And where did it get you and what did it feel like?
Well, it got me in the back of the throat. Horrible. It was horrible. Yes, yeah, flew right in. And it felt like, you know how when you drink hot lava?
Sure.
Felt like that.
Okay, fabulous. Okay, remember that the Misha Barton. And is that a wasp or a hornet or an
It's
ant?
Latin.
That is obviously a hornet.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, Brian Lohman, the name of your insect?
Whatever, Dean.
Dean, I was bit by an alligator flea.
An alligator flea, of course. And what's the Latin name for the alligator flea?
Reptilicus annoyus.
And where did it get you and what did it feel like?
It bit me on my ankle. And it felt like somebody took all the candles off a birthday cake and shoved them one at a time underneath my skin and then covered it with iodine.
Wow.
Okay.
And then
The alligator flea. Remember that, kids, the alligator flea.
Alligator
All right,
flea.
Dr. McShane,
Oh,
what was
gosh.
the name of the bug that got you?
The African cheese beetle.
Oh, yes. And the Latin name for the African cheese
The
beetle?
Latin name for the African cheese beetle is the Fromage Cepulus africanus.
Yes.
it's what happens when you have that much time.
Yeah.
to think.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Always go last in an improv.
I mean, try coming up with Misha Barton.
Yeah, yeah.
Mike, what did the African cheese beetle sting feel like?
It was a very powerful sting. The African cheese beetle often hibernates in cheeses in some of the European cheese markets. And often, because of global warming, the sudden shift in temperature enlivens the larvae. It makes them very irritated. And then once you eat the piece of cheese, it's kind of like the gestating period, and it's in your mouth, and it bites your tongue. And that's what it bit my tongue. It swelled up. It looked like I had a naked pink hamster sticking out of my mouth. It was so swollen. It was awful. It was awful.
Okay, kids. By round of the kids you get to judge. Is it going to be the
we're done.
we're
the,
done.
co-
We're
the,
sorry.
co- the cobra butterfly?
Oh, did you go to sleep?
Wake up.
Yes, yes, we
Butterfly?
love him.
The Misha Barton kids? Kids? The alligator flea? Or the African cheese beetle? Which one? Okay, point to the one you want. 1, 2, 3.
Whoa!
Oh, okay, I think it's the African cheese beetle takes
African
it.
cheese beetle.
We got it almost.
We got it.
Peer pressure.
Maybe.
I know they changed their mind, right?
Oh, man.
I had 2 more votes.
Okay, so Mike, you get to choose. Do you want to go first or second?
Let's go first. Let's be brave.
Okay, they're gonna
we
be brave and go first.
We survived the pain index already. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
well, are you up for a little?
We're
Have
gonna
a
go.
seat.
Yeah, I
No,
just-
I'm gonna have a
I just
seat.
wanna-
You don't have to ask
I
me
just
what.
want to
Are you
thank
up
the
for a
kids
little,
here tonight.
guess
Thanks
and
a
Hey,
lot.
Dean,
Mike.
we have music tonight,
Do it
don't
all
we?
We do have
Kids.
music. We
Who's
have
having music
Conrad
tonight?
Kono,
American
Yeah,
Conrad
Conrad.
Dr. Michael Schindlinger on the bass.
Beautiful.
Do you want to do something musical?
We could, or
It's a guessing game.
yeah, guess-
Do a guessing game?
Let's do a guessing
Should we
game.
send Mike out of the room?
Yeah.
All right, kids, can you go keep an eye on Mike McShane? He's sneaky.
Keep an eye on him.
That's right.
Where's the bar?
But he's real clever with names.
Hey, there's kids present.
Okay.
Juice bar.
Thank you.
All right, no, you can have a. Hold on, Justin. I'm going to start
guys.
interviewing you, and you can keep the mask on or
That's how we
not.
play this game. You keep me honest. Come on.
Come on, Mike.
Be careful.
You guys keep me honest. We'll
You were
stand out
going
here
to
while they-
no,
so they'll
almost.
get-
Actually, why don't you take the mask off? We'll use it in the game later. So
You know, when a stinging insect approaches you, it wants to escape. And since I was a stinging insect, you
Oh,
were
my
approaching
goodness
me.
gracious.
There
I
we
thought
go.
I would escape.
all right, so Justin, let's talk about one of my favorite ants, the harvester ant.
Ah, that's the delight of my heart.
Do they have harvester ants here in California?
Yes, we have lots of harvester ants here, and they're wonderful. You go out into a nice dry area and you see these red ants. They're really hardworking. They're like all of us are supposed to be. They collect seeds, they bring them back, and they slave away and milling them, making into bread to feed to their babies. So they're great parents.
Now, their venom, you were the first person to measure their venom. How toxic is the venom of the harvester ant?
You don't want to know. It's really toxic. Number, well, let's see. 1/19 millionth of a milligram is the lethal dose per kilogram. So that's pretty
So compared
potent.
to
So
say-
now we get this back to something relevant, like a honeybee. It's about 25 times more toxic than a honeybee.
How is it compared to, say, a rattlesnake, the
And
harvester
a rattlesnake, it'll be about 35 or 40 times more toxic.
ant? So the harvester ant venom is 35 or 40 times more toxic than a rattlesnake.
Exactly. So you can view a harvester ant as being like about 1/1000th of a rattlesnake on 6 legs. So if you get 1,000 of them stinging you, that's like a rattlesnake bite. The good news is they're about 1/1000th the size of a rattlesnake.
So the harvester ant, which we can find here in California, they have a predator that is practically immune to their venom.
Yes, they have this wonderful. Ever heard of a horny lizard, horny toad, horned toad? They're wonderful. They were loved to death. They were such wonderful pets. And they can eat ants with impunity. If you're big and fat and slow and you have nothing else that you can do, you can't catch anything. Sumo wrestlers don't do a 100-yard dash very fast. You don't track down, some nice little grasshopper or something if you're like that. So what do? You sit out on an ant colony and slurp up whoever comes out. And if you're going to do that, that's like eating a diet of steady jalapeno peppers. It gets a little spicy after a while. So
How do they defend themselves against their arch enemy?
So just like, eating jalapeno peppers, you get so you no longer feel it anymore, and they're no longer toxic. So then what the ants do is they say, well, we'll up the ante a little bit.
Up the ante, okay.
So what? So what they do is the ants come out and they bite them. Remember, they've got jaws. If you're crunching up seeds and making bread, well, you've got a pretty good set of jaws there, and you bite them. And there's no way to get around a bite. In fact, if that's not good enough, you bite onto a little finger, clamp onto it. You ever put your finger in one of these Chinese torture things where you can't get your finger out? Well, they get the head on there. Uh-oh.
And so do they often leave a little souvenir with the horned lizard?
Yes, they leave their head. The whole works. And so they'll kind of bite onto you, and the lizard will kick and kick off the body and the rest of it, but the head's still there. So you got this thing. What's this thing on my finger here, my toe? Oh, my belly. You got one sticking on your navel. You know, that kind of gets your attention. Usually at that point you decide, I'm going to go somewhere else.
And they're doing this to defend the queen. How long can a harvester ant queen live?
Mom's a really important gal in this story because she has many, many babies, and almost none of them live anywhere near as long as her. They'll live a year, which is pretty long. You think a year is kind of long for a little tiny quarter-of-an-inch creature. Guess how long Mom lives? She can live up to 46 years. And we don't know whether she can live longer because the scientist who was investigating her, I think, died of old age before.
And now this queen, how big is her castle?
Well, the queen is about twice as big, but she has about 20,000 babies a year. So can you imagine moms having 20,000 babies every year, going into the hospital 20,000 times a year? I don't want to think about that.
And then how deep underground do they dig their nests? How deep? Because there's a picture in your book of you peeking out from underground from one of the nests.
Yeah, Mom's really safe. You know, we cherish Mom, and you know, if you have 20,000 babies, you'd better cherish your mom. So we dig a tunnel, go down. We don't quite get to China, but we get pretty close. We get about 8 to 12 feet. If you're in a nice warm place like Santa Barbara or Florida, 8 feet's good enough. If you're in a cold place like Wyoming or Alberta, then you go down 12 feet.
And why do they go so deep?
Well, they go down so deep, a couple of things. Santa Barbara doesn't have any bad weather. You know, you go to Fairbanks, Alaska, and you'll find you cook in the summer and you freeze in the winter. Mama Queen doesn't want to do that. So the more you go down, it's like living in a rammed earth house or a straw bale one. You're nice and protected from the heat and the cold. But more importantly, people might want to eat you. You're fat and juicy and yum yum. Well, if you're down there 8 feet down and you got a whole bunch of biting and stinging guards along the way, good luck.
All right, so Mike didn't hear any of this, did he? Is he still out there in the soundproof booth? Okay, he's going to need to guess 3 pieces of information which Brian is going to relay to him. What would those be? What would be fun for him to guess? How many babies? About 20,000 per year? 46 years would be a good one. Head falls off when they're fighting. Any other suggestions? 8 feet under. Anything else? Horned lizard. What 3 do you want to relay?
Head falls off. Horned lizard and 20,000 babies.
20,000 babies. Head falls off. Horned lizard. 20,000 babies. Okay, we're gonna up the ante. You have to do it in the form of a song.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah.
And so we're going to pretend,
Sure.
we've done this once before, it's been a big hit. We're going to pretend that you're lounge lizards. This is Vegas, it's 2 a.m.
Okay.
And good luck. All right, Justin, you can have a seat. Kids, you can bring back in Mike McShane. You're the lounge lizards, 3 pieces of information.
All right. Toby?
Ricardo,
Hey, baby.
come back. Welcome to
Come on.
the show.
Man, they just smooth in a goblet of milk. Good to see you, brother.
Now, I only remember half the lyrics to this song, so you're going to have to fill in the key pieces of information,
Oh, yeah?
which I've forgotten,
Oh,
thanks to my
man.
many years of living in Las Vegas and destroying memory cells.
Man, you rolled the dice till they lost their spots, didn't you, baby?
That's right. They're just blank to me, like my
Okay.
memory.
All right.
You made me feel so good in the middle of the road. Got me so excited, like a reptilian.
Toad.
It's popular in Vegas because it is so
Haunted.
Okay.
Oh, we know about that fella. Tell me some more about that naughty toad.
Sure, I got a lot to say.
I bet you do.
But, oh, when that toad gets too close to its natural enemy, bad things can happen, like the reign of terror, you see. Because when the jaws clamp down, it can no longer cough. Because as we know, its predators
Are off.
Yes, but what comes off, you
Yeah,
may
tell me, yeah.
ask? What part of the predator? It comes right off. The reign of terror was a clue. I'll repeat it to you. See if that will stir your memory or two.
Reign of terror, you say, is the clue intact? You gotta give me more, baby Jack Jack.
Ooh-wee, what happened to King Louie?
All right! I see what you mean. Like that king, that animal ran into the mandible guillotine. Lost its head like the axe, just left with the middle thorax. How tragic,
Tragic,
how tragic,
tragic it was. But not just one. Oh, no, no, no. The family that this comes from is larger than you could imagine. Pick a number, I've run out of fingers and toes. You know how it goes.
I'll take it past the 10, my friend. As many grains of sand. I think the number that you are cogitating is 1,000.
Oh, I wish that were true.
I blew it.
I'm afraid I misled you.
Oh, no, no, no.
There's gotta be more than that. Say it again and rhyme me. Say it again.
1,000.
Say it again and rhyme
Rhyme
me.
Say it again and rhyme me. Shoulder, shoulder.
Shoulder,
What?
shoulder.
Shoulder, shoulder. Give me some more, baby. One more time. I'm sorry.
When
Yeah.
I say it again.
Again.
Then think of a number that rhymes with when and then again. See if you can do it. See if you can do it. I know there's
It's abysmal, possibly decimisimal. I think the number that you mean is 10,000,
10 what?
baby.
Oh, yeah.
Cha-cha-cha.
Okay, hold on. Okay, they got the first clue was horned toad.
Horned toad.
Second clue was head fall off.
Head
Now,
fall
what
off.
was the third clue, people?
20,000.
Oh my goodness! So the technical judge, technical judge.
You
so
couldn't
narrative
put
and-
leagues under the sea or something in there?
All right, judges scores. Oh.
Oh! Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Lohman.
Oh, she says
Yeah.
horned lizard. Oh, well, it goes by both names. So thank you, Brooke.
Thank
All
you,
right,
thank you.
gentlemen, have a seat.
What was your complaint?
It should have been 20,000, not 10,000.
Yeah, it should have been. You're right. Come back next week and we'll add another 10,000.
Okay, thank you. Have a seat. Have a seat. All right, Beth, will you come on up? You brought a large cardboard standee of a mountain lion up here with you.
Yes.
Beth, not any mountain lion. Who is it?
This isn't just any mountain lion. He's a true LA Cougar. Who's heard of P22? Woo!
So talk about what national media has P22 been in?
P22, I don't know too many cougars that have been interviewed on Marketplace, at least the cat kind. He's been on BBC Radio, front page of the LA Times, the New Yorker, the New York Times.
National
he's
Geographic.
National Geographic, you name it. He's the most famous mountain lion in the world, and he'll give any Hollywood celebrity a run for their money in terms
So
of.
why is P22 so famous?
Well, obviously LA doesn't usually have a mountain lion living in the middle of it. In fact, it's the only major city in the world that has a mountain lion. But I actually think he's famous because of his story, which is that he's a lonely bachelor who's dateless and trapped in traffic on a Friday night. And who can't relate to that in LA?
So he lives in Griffith Park. By round of applause, folks, how many of you have been to Griffith Park?
Awesome.
So, for folks listening internationally, Griffith Park is right in the middle of the city. It is bounded by freeways, it is bounded by suburbs, high rises. Who discovered P22 and how did he get there?
Yeah, so he is really city living. This is not on the outskirts. It is an 8 square mile patch of park in the middle of LA. And just so you know, mountain lions usually have about a 200 to 250 square mile territory. So he's really, living in a pretty small space. But he crossed the 405 and the 101 to get there. He made about a 50-mile journey from the Santa Monica Mountains west of LA. Have you ever crossed the 101 or the 405 on foot? Yeah, it's not something I'd want to try.
So he's thereby he's the only mountain lion that we know of in Griffith Park.
It's the only mountain lion.
And what does he survive on there?
Deer. Mountain lions love deer. They are venison steaks are their favorite. Although, as we know, he has sampled some other wildlife, such as the koala who lived in the zoo. But
We'll save that story. We'll come back to that.
Sorry. Okay, we'll come back to that.
And I heard somebody over here say tourists, that he samples tourists.
Yeah.
Well, talk to me. This is a predator. Are people worried about P22 being in a large public park?
This is what I think we need to celebrate. No. LA loves him. They know he's a wild animal, and wild animals can be dangerous. He's never even made an aggressive move, but I can't say he never would. But he's native wildlife, and LA has squarely come down on saying he belongs here. And I think that's really cool.
So, Beth, he's... Oh, round of applause, absolutely. So he's by himself. How old has he been living by himself there in
So he's
Griffith
been a
Park?
lonely bachelor. He came into the park in 2012, and the only reason we know he's there, these are called ghost cats. They are extremely secretive. And the only reason we know he's there is these remote cameras. But he came into the park in about 2012. They think he was about 2 years old. So it's 2017 now. And they live till about 10 to 13 in the wild. He might live longer, though. In some, he's not in captivity yet. He doesn't have another male mountain lion that he has to challenge. So he's living a pretty good life. There's good deer there because of the Forest Lawn Cemetery. I kind of love that he's feeding on deer that are munching on grass grown by dead celebrities.
Well, we're gonna pause you right there. Beth. So you're gonna participate in this scene.
Oh, okay.
And this is something that Brian Lohman and I.
And I brought my.
cooked-
I don't have
you
a
brought
bee
your.
hat, but I have my Cougar
All
hat.
right.
There we go. Yeah.
So this is an improv game called Pillars. And you're going to be a mountain lion expert.
Okay.
And then we need a volunteer from the audience. And Stephen, for the sake of this game, please use all of your mountain lion expertise, okay?
You should go.
And if you don't know it, make it up, okay? So it breaks my heart that this lion is by himself. I'd love for him to
He's
have
lonely.
a mate. Do you think we could right that wrong through the magic of
Sure.
theater?
Oh, God,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Take it away.
I've been dying to play an LA Cougar.
Okay, and I'm gonna. Okay.
Yeah, no, mountain lions have distinct haircuts.
Oh, I know.
You
I'm
have to
working on
emulate.
it. I'm
all
working
right,
on it
all
right
right,
now. I
all
think
right.
I nailed it.
I mean, look how neatly coiffed P22 is. He doesn't have a hair out of place.
Wow. Wow, it sure is lonely here in Griffith Park. And I'm a bachelor. When I crossed both of those freeways, I never know I would be trapped here in this park. I mean, I feel really
Furry.
I feel furry. I've just grown my hair out so much since being here. Excuse me. You over there.
What? Oh. Rawr. Could it be? Are you actually P22?
Yeah. A lot of
I-
people come up here just to see me.
I want you to know I've traveled all the way from
Venice.
Venice. I'm Italian. I'm an Italian-American cougar.
Wow. From the west side.
Yeah,
Wow. Your commute must have taken a long, long time.
it did. I read about you. You're in so many magazines. I saw you on the cover of Elle
Yes.
magazine.
Yes.
Because I was getting fashion tips.
Right. Well, like
and
you
I
said,
thought, I'm gonna find that cougar. I'm gonna meet that cougar. I'm gonna know that cougar.
look, you don't want to get tied up with someone like me. I mean, I'm just
A PumaCon caller.
a PumaCon caller.
Dare you?
I thought you should know sooner than later. I'm a PumaCon caller.
I didn't travel all this way for you to talk like that to me. Listen,
What?
I think you're stunning. And I think your
Claws.
claws are the claws of the kind of puma that I want to claw me at night.
Do you mean it?
I mean it. Look, I was just hanging out over some dead celebrities in Griffith Park, and I feel like you and I have a future.
Well, of course, but I mean, my mating cycle is
One night stands.
one night stand. So this is perfect. I mean, it is LA after all.
I know.
Come on.
I'm a cougar. I'm used to it. You're
Look.
perfect for me. I'm perfect for you. And together we're
Pouncing.
pouncing.
Yes, we are pouncing.
Let's pounce our way through LA. What do you say?
I'd love to, but I have something to admit.
Oh, God.
I'm only 7. But I know in cougar years that means I'm
3. Male cougar years.
male cougar. I'm only 3 actually in male cougar years.
Look,
What? Oh, you
I'm
got,
a lady cougar.
Okay.
I don't care that I'm older.
I don't either. Yes. Thank you, Beth.
Well
Thank you, Steve.
Put your hands together for Steven, our mountain lion expert.
Nicely done.
All right.
Beth Pratt and
Is it
Kelly
back?
and Steven
Kind of back?
Kieran. All right.
Oh.
Okay, let's start with the technical judge. 4, entertainment judge. 4,
Okay.
story
come on.
quality.
Oh, come on,
Come
Puma
on. You know you've
Concorde.
experienced this.
A
A
35.
3.5. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Oh, it's the first scene of the evening. He's just trying to get him to work up to
That's
Man,
fine.
some better material. All right, Justin, why don't you come back up and have a seat? So, Sting of the Wild, outstanding book. It's almost like reading science fiction. And one of my favorite creatures that you talk about towards the end of the book is the tarantula hawk.
Ah.
Now, the tarantula hawk's not a bird.
No, tarantula hawk is a wasp, but we think it's so big that we think it's a hawk. And if you're a tarantula, you'll definitely think it's a hawk.
So they dine on tarantulas?
Yeah, well, mom's a good mother. You know, insects are really ideal mothers. Mom's very good. She sacrifices. She goes to flowers and sips nectar and is very peaceful and nice and polite. But babies need to grow and they need to go big and strong like mom. So she will go and catch a tarantula, the world's biggest spider, and lay one egg on one tarantula. But in order to do that, she's got to be a good mom and sacrifice and risk her life to try to subdue this big tarantula, and then she will drag it into a burrow and lay the egg on it. But she's even more clever. She's a very biased mom. She knows that boys are kind of, sort of worthless. We're just little runty things. We don't do any work. We won't feed the next generation. All we do is chase the girls. And that's no good. So if you're a little scrawny tarantula, she'll lay a male egg on this scrawny tarantula, which she can do. She can decide whether she wants boys or girls. Then you get a little scrawny male. He's just as good for chasing the girls as a big one. And if it's a nice big juicy one, then she lays a girl egg on it so that her girls can, this is the Amazon world. We win, women.
So she can choose the sex of the baby, and she gives the females a better diet.
Exactly. I mean, shouldn't we do that after all? When you're in your old age and you're in this nursing home, who takes care of you? Do your sons take care of you? Not likely. It's usually the daughters. So you need to know who's important.
So she's a single mom. She's tough. What sort of predators does the tarantula hawk have?
None.
Wait. Everything has a predator on planet Earth.
Well, not really. Entomologists are about the only ones. We're too dumb to know any better.
So tarantula hawks have no real predators. Why is that?
Yeah, what about a cougar? Well, that's true. I haven't ever tested them with cougars. That might be a possibility. But I think cougars are too smart to do that. The reason is, have you ever walked on a windy day and had a 20,000 volt telephone wire snap off the pole and land on you? Well, of course, we all have, naturally. Well, no. But if you've ever stuck your finger into a socket, you know, when you're 3 or 4 and your mom has forgotten to hide one of the electrical things and you stick a finger in there, well, multiply that by about 1,000 times, or maybe only 100. It depends how much voltage you got. And that's what it feels like. And so if you get that in your schnoz, that usually discourages you from wanting to eat me.
Well, can't they, I mean, does she have any other special defenses?
Oh, yes, she has lots of defenses. She's kind of like, have you ever tried to eat a tank? Something as hard as a rock? You know, it's kind of crunchy. You know, if you're eating walnuts and somebody shells it for you, it's pretty good. But if you get the whole walnut, you can't really eat it. And they're like a walnut. They're round and slippery. And so if you got mandibles or jaws and you're trying to pierce this thing, you can't get through them. Plus, she stinks. This case, you know, the boys don't smell as bad as the girls because they're a little smaller. But she has this awful smell. It's kind of like burnt garlic mixed with coffee, and then you boil it for a little while. It's pretty...
Burnt garlic mixed with coffee, and then you boil it a little while. So she's got an awful smell. She's got armor, and then she's got it's venom, but it feels like an electric shock. Does she have any other adaptations?
Well, she can bite if all else fails.
She can bite as well.
And she's got kind of like a couple of sickles coming in from the sides that can bite. So yeah, you don't want to mess with her.
How does she get is a tarantula bigger than a tarantula hawk?
Oh yeah, the tarantula is sometimes like 8 times bigger. It's kind of like, you know, if I'm say 150 pounds, then I will be fighting with somebody that's 1,200 pounds.
How does she get the corpse back to her nest?
A lot of hard work. Yeah, she's very clever. The only part of the armor of a tarantula she can get through is the underbelly. So you can imagine here she is chasing this tarantula. She grabs onto it like an elbow of the leg, uses that with her jaws to get a good anchor, and she rents her business end is her tail end, where the sting is. And that's the novipositor. But she rams that up in the tender underbelly of this poor tarantula, paralyzes it instantly. Now the hard work is done. You think, wrong. Now she has to haul this 1,200-pound equivalent tarantula across something like the 101, Highway 5, you know, whatever else is in the way, all kinds of roads and obstructions and things. Sometimes 100 yards. She hauls this thing back up over hill and dale, and you can imagine if we had to haul something 1,200 pounds for about 12 or 15 miles, we'd be pretty tired. But that's what she does, dedication.
And the tarantula's still alive?
Oh yeah, the tarantula is quite alive. Probably not happy, but alive.
All right, gentlemen. I've got a game idea, but do you have anything that's come to mind, Mike and Brian?
It sounds like a Depression-era success story.
Sounds like a Depression era. You could do that, or I was wondering if we could do maybe get a member of the audience. Maybe they've got some superhero powers. Sounds comic booky to me. Twilight Zone, maybe.
Maybe this long-suffering mother. It feels much more tragic.
Okay, come on up. Let's see that.
Ethan.
Mom?
Ethan.
Oh, man, that's
Oh, son. I'm just
stuck my business end in a giant spider.
I see. Look at the look on his face.
1,200 pounds, Ethan, what I've dragged home for you.
Oh.
You, my lazy male
It took you so
offspring.
long.
You who will do nothing to help, but your sisters would, but you
Yeah, I know.
know, Ethan,
One second,
no.
one second.
Look what are you texting? Are you texting? Well, look
Yeah, I was gonna go to a party with some fire ants.
Look at the road. I dragged this thing up freeways, highways.
The 405? Why
four-
didn't you use MapQuest? Could have gone around the whole Coldwater Canyon area, Mom.
I don't have time to look at a handheld device.
You
when
just work hard to make me feel like a failure, don't you?
Son.
You just. How can I rise above the shadow of a magnificent tarantula hawk like you? Sure, I'm well fed. You think I'm happy on the outside, but inside, I'm just a hollow shell, Mom.
Ethan, what have I done wrong? Every time I go out there, I find these gigantic spiders. I stick a hole in them. I shoot them full of electricity and paralyze them, and then I drag them home for you to feast on. And
Mom,
what do
that's
I
not
get?
cuisine. That's not cuisine. You're taking a large dead animal full of your poison and forcing me to eat it day after day.
Oh, you're so spoiled. You're spoiled, that's what you are. Where's your father? That's what I'd like to know. Where is he? I could have.
You
know,
bit his head off, Mom.
It was a long weekend.
All the men in this subspecies are so disappointing to you. God, I wish I would have been born a woman.
Don't you take that tone with me.
For a spider, a woman's life is easy. You get to be dominant. You get to kick butt. You get to bring back the food and be the breadwinner.
Son, I picked your sex. I could have made you a girl.
Why didn't you?
A successful, powerful girl. Instead, I wanted a son.
And look what you got. A globular, whining, eight-legged freak. Mom, I think I need to strike out on my own.
Ethan, don't. The tarantula hawk have always stuck together. It's our family unit that makes us as powerful as we are. If you leave me now here with this carcass of an arachnid, what will happen to me? What will happen?
I don't. Ooh, he is big.
Just try that leg there. I found it delicious. Here, I'll make a nice pudding to go with.
And blackout. Oh my goodness. Melodrama, the melodrama of the tarantula hawk. Technical score. Ooh, a 5. Entertainment score. A 4. A narrative score of 5. All right. Put your hands together.
Thank you.
All right, Beth, come on back up.
Water right there.
So we started talking about, I guess in some ways, P-22 is emblematic of globalism.
That's a really good comparison. He, when you think about it, the development and the roads he has to face as this lonely cougar, he's just trying to eke out a living in the modern world, and he's doing it pretty well.
Now, he's awful close to the LA Zoo.
He is. In fact, the LA Zoo, have you been? It's right in Griffith Park. And so it is interesting that this sort of holdover from the Ice Age, is reunited with some animals from across the world that he wouldn't normally be in contact with.
And has he gotten in trouble with the LA Zoo?
He has trouble. Might be like he had to go to detention. Is mainly more. The LA Zoo was very forgiving, but P-22, of course, roams all through Griffith Park, and mountain lions are really cool because they can, from a standstill, jump 15 feet high. So imagine that. Can any of us do that? No. I mean,
Well, there's an example if you guys go home and friend P-22 on Facebook.
Yes.
there's a video of a mountain lion
Jumping.
attacking a deer, getting it in midair, and they
Yep.
both meet about 5 or 6 feet off the ground.
Yep,
There's
they are impressive creatures of strength. So P-22 got in a little bit of trouble where he was wandering through Griffith Park and he comes across a fence that was 6 to 9 feet high. For a mountain lion, no problem. And he saw what I think in his mind was a raccoon, sort of raccoon-like creature, and decided to have an hors d'oeuvre and took the raccoon-like creature out. Well, it turned out to be one of the cutest animals in the world, unfortunately, a koala. Yeah. So this was P-22, looked like he was going to be in a bit of trouble, but no, the LA Zoo publicly said, our fault, we'll build our fences higher. The LA mayor said, we stand by our boy. And LA themselves said, hey, he's the native wildlife. I will tell you, the Australians got into the game and said, send them over here. We're sick of koalas. Yeah, like that.
So
This sounds like a true Shakespearean tragedy.
it does sound like
Yes.
a true Shakespearean tragedy.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah,
it?
It does. I think it does. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll take it right away. Beth, why don't you have a
Okay.
seat?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Shakespearean tragedy of P-22 and the koala. Enter the players.
Ah, me. Ne'er has there been one more fair of face than me, sweet Lady Koala. For in all the land I am known as the fairest, the sweetest, and the most, well, as some shall say, the cutest of all herein. And as I prance around in my kingdom with my short, short walls, for none would e'er harm me, Lady Koala, I am filled with such joy of the promise of the morrow. Ah, what sound hark I hear?
Milady, good Lady Tiny Bear. I come with this pail filled with leaves of eucalyptus.
Leaves of
You
eucalyptus.
to feast upon, my lady, here, as I be an associate zookeeper, charged only with dropping off said pail of tiny, delicious leaves of eucalyptus trees. Come, take your feast, for you be completely safe here. There be no predator that can reach you, my lady.
Aye, no predator would dare. For if a predator were to bring down sweet Lady Koala, he would be the most hated and vile thing in all the land.
Yes, I dare such creature to show himself.
Oh, good zookeeper, you are such a good guard unto mine own sweet self.
Yea, know this, tiny bear, from down under, that I shall protect thee, and should this... Goodbye.
What is this? What is this that has come here upon within mine own sweet abode?
Ah,
Oh!
what do I find here?
Oh, nay, I have ne'er seen such majesty. I have ne'er seen such a creature so intriguing, and yet who is so... what say you?
What be this fencing of cyclone that stands before me? It seems to be a natural barrier that I may use this.
Yes, smaller
Ruler
bear? Are
oh.
you trying to tell me there's some kind of danger? There's never danger for me. I'm Lady Koala.
Speak not, little snitches.
I'm the most popular small wee bear in all the zoo kingdom. I'm sorry, he wants to meet me? Oh, all right.
Yes, tell her this mispronunciation, little ones.
Yes, I heard that it was nice to meet you.
Ah, yes, they speak truly good, wise young children that did pick other team earlier.
Oh, methinks his eyes have a queer danger behind them, and yet I know none would harm me, for I am sweet, kind, tiny, cute Lady Koala.
He's gonna kill you.
What?
He's gonna kill you.
Yes, he's going to thrill me, it's true.
Yes.
My tiny ears can barely hear what you say.
Check this out, good lady.
Yes? Oh!
Now I be in same enclosure as thee.
Did you just now nearly jump 15 feet over my cyclone fencing?
Yea, this small one here on the end doth grow most impatient with the long time it hath taken me to make you a feast. Is that true?
A feast?
Perhaps I should start with a small appetizer before we go forward.
What?
Yes. Wouldst thou like a small appetizer, I say?
Say, don't pay attention to them. Pay attention to me, Lady Koala. I'm the most important small bear here.
With pleasure, milady.
Nice to meet you.
And now for some delicious dessert.
And blackout. Oh my. Thank you.
I don't know if that's going to stay.
I think we get a point for using a prop, right?
Yes.
We just have to pay a deposit for said panther. Thank you for taking care of it. Judges' scores. 5, a 5, and a 5. Whoa.
All right. All right.
Yeah. Welcome to Cougar Town.
Okay, guys, you got to bring it.
Quality.
You
can't
cannot
hate quality.
hate
Okay?
quality. Thank you, Mike McShane. All right, let's come back on up. So, Justin, you were telling me that the venom of a harvester ant is many times more powerful than a rattlesnake.
Exactly.
Who figured that out?
Well, I guess I'm the guilty party here.
Okay, well, I was wondering, do you think you and your 2 assistants might be able to demonstrate that on stage?
Well, I don't know. We can try.
You guys want to give it a try? Sure. So we're going to put you in the lab. We're going to put, what's the name of your lab?
Southwestern Biological Institute.
Okay, so it's going to be a typical day in the lab, and let's just kind of start the morning like you would. We're going to have your two assistants come on stage. Why don't you come up on stage and stand with them?
So what we do, gentlemen, is we wait for the sun to come up. We'll have our morning coffee, wait till it gets nice and warm. Because
Gentlemen.
Oh, thank you.
It's on a tray. There you go.
Thank you,
Typical day
kind
in the
miss.
lab. There
Thank
go.
you.
Okay.
now when it's getting a little bit warm, but not too hot, we're going to do a stroll out to the park. Griffith Park might do.
Oh, nice.
Nice park. And we go, and there's a bear area there. Somebody has been clearing this area. Oh, there's some ants there. Let's collect the ants.
Why don't you get the ants, Bob?
Okay, sure. Here, hold my coffee.
Sure.
And just pick a couple up?
Well, yes, gently.
Okay, sure.
Not gentle enough.
I guess not. Should I be gentler?
Well, actually, I sucked them up with a vacuum, but I forgot to tell you that.
Here's your vacuum, gentlemen.
Thank you.
There you go. There's the
Thank
hose
you
in.
very much.
Delicious coffee, Carol.
Thank
Good job. You're doing excellent.
How's the coffee?
Delicious.
Now we got to get them out of the vacuum.
Good
Yeah.
luck, Bob.
God,
Well, there's two ways to do it. You can do it the energetic way, just open the lid and let them come out. But I don't recommend that.
No.
Put them in the refrigerator so they kind of slow down. You know, like when you're really cold.
Here's your refrigerator, gentlemen.
Great, thank you,
Thanks,
Matt.
Carol.
You're welcome.
So now we'll go and have our donut, our mid-morning donut.
all right.
I was going to put the canister with them in the refrigerator.
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
it's okay. No. It's all right. No.
All right.
You're doing it with your bare hands again.
Ow, 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 ow.
It's crazy.
I didn't have my coffee this morning, all right?
Well, here you go. Oh, I finished it. I'm sorry.
So,
Thank you, darling. Bless your cotton socks.
Well, did you say something about donuts, Professor?
Yes, donut.
Yes, we needed our mid-morning break. More coffee and a donut or two.
Here you go, gentlemen.
Oh, thanks,
There's
Carol.
a whole tray.
Thank
Just take the whole
you.
tray. There
Thank
you go.
So now we finish that. We're cool now.
Okay.
So now we have to get to work. You know, after all, it's 11 o'clock, and isn't that about the time we should start doing some work?
Yes.
Boy, I'll say.
So now we reach in,
Coffee,
we
then
grab an
donuts,
ant.
and then work.
We have to grab this ant with tiny, tiny little tweezers and get her out. We put her under a microscope, you know, one of these bug-eyed things that you look through and you see crazy scientists looking at some tiny little thing under there. That's what we got to do. So we got to catch her, put her under the microscope, and then we do the surgery.
Yeah.
Good job. Not too much coffee or you might drop her.
She looks angry, Professor.
Yes, excellent.
I think
Doing
that's the one that
well.
got me.
So you ready for the operation?
Oh,
We're gonna do a C-section.
oh, no, no.
This is what we do is C-sections.
No. I'm good.
Well,
Oh boy, I can hardly wait to see this.
well, the ant is a girl, you see, so you don't do C-sections on boys. Boys are worthless. But these are all girls, so we do the C-section.
How's it going, Bob? How's it going?
So now we pull the little baby out. Little baby is a venom sac. This baby didn't quite get the way you wanted it to be.
Oh, it's so cute.
Oh, she is. She's adorable.
What should we name her?
Auntie.
Auntie.
I feel like shopping at Mother Care.
Auntie Mabel.
Auntie Mabel.
Mabel.
Look, Bob, look at this adorable venom sac.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, God, I'm so sorry.
But Auntie Mabel needs a brother or sister.
Sure.
So we'll get Auntie Hildegard to come out next. So you grab another ant.
Okay.
Do another C-section.
Oh, I've been harder to wait to see how this turns out.
Here you go, Bob.
So was that a typical day in the lab, Justin? Just like it, huh? Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Stephen. Judges' scores. A 4, a 4, and a 5.
Wow.
Good help is hard to find.
Oh, man.
Okay, Beth, come on back up. You did something very special. Was it last October, 2016?
Last year. Mhm.
Last year. Can you tell us what that was?
I'm guessing you're referring to the hike that
Yes.
we did? Yeah. So we wanted to see how this cat, this remarkable cat, got from the Santa Monica Mountains, sort of near the Agora Hills area, to Griffith Park. So we decided to try it out ourselves. And I actually wore a mountain lion collar, so I was a LA Cougar for a few days. Now that I'm married, I can't really claim that anymore. So
how long is the trek
it's
from?
about 50 miles, and we did it over 3.5 days, and you could follow me online. I was being tracked like P22, and my collar that I wore is now on an actual cat, P55, which is really cool.
Why did you start in Agora?
We started at the site of what we are doing. It's in some respects we're joking. It's a little hard to be funny about these cats because although there's some really fun stories, they're going extinct. These cats are trapped by freeways, and this population, at least, is going extinct because they can't get girlfriends. They're genetically collapsing. So we are building the largest wildlife friendly crossing in the world to help save these cougars, because we have to keep cougars in LA.
So the
And,
wildlife
yeah.
crossing will be.
Yeah,
a round
isn't
of
that
applause?
awesome? It'll be over the 101.
So
And-
wildlife crossing over the 101, and you know these. When we're going down to LA, how will we know where this will be?
You won't be able, once it's built, which if I do my job, it'll be built in early 2022. And you can go to SaveLACougars.org and look at photos of it. And it's the Liberty Canyon exit. So if you are driving, it's pretty obvious where it is.
Liberty Canyon,
yeah.
just before you get to Malibu.
Malibu's a little south, but yep.
Yeah.
Just get off, and you can see there's only one place this can go because development's on either side. But
Sorry, I meant the Malibu Canyon
Yeah,
exit or Las
exactly,
Virgenes.
sorry.
Yeah.
it's a wildlife crossing. So it's like just picture green space extending over the freeway. It's amazing, and LA is going to be a world leader here.
How wide and how long will this wildlife bridge be?
165 feet wide and 200 feet long. It has to go over 10 lanes of freeway and an access road. So, but it's the only way. Again, if you are standing on the 101, I'm guessing, stand up if you'd cross the 101 on foot. Not really. So, wait, we have somebody.
Wait, who stood up?
Yeah.
Here you go. You just
Yeah,
got
you get
Beth's
the book.
When Mountain Lions Are Neighbors. Here you go.
Yeah. Woo. When we did the 50-mile hike, Caltrans, who is our partner on the crossing, and the National Park Service, another partner, they threatened to arrest me if I did try to actually cross these freeways on foot like P22. So we had to go over the bridges. You know.
So how do you go? You go from Agoura
Yeah.
over the 101, and
Yeah.
then
If you look on a map, it's pretty obvious the green space winnows to a fine point from if you're starting at Agoura Hills, say, you're on the Backbone Trail, plenty of space. And who's been on the Backbone Trail on the Santa Monica
Backbone
Mountains?
Trail along Santa
Lots
Monica
of
Mountains.
open space. You then cross, you get to the 405 around like the Getty, a little north of the Getty. And at that point, you've stepped out of having a lot of open space to zero. And my husband's here with me, who hiked with me. Once you get on Mulholland Drive, that this cat made it is, I mean, give him a round of applause. We almost died.
you
on
almost got,
Mulholland.
you
No,
almost
I'm
got
not kidding.
killed on Mulholland.
There's no sidewalks. There's no, you cannot connect the parks. That this cat stood there and looked, sort of far off in the distance and saw Griffith Park and kept going is an incredible story. And, again, it is, right now, I feel like, he deserves a girlfriend. I mean, look at that journey.
So talk to me about, you're going along Mulholland.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think how did he sustain himself? Did he do any hunting in people's backyards?
I'm sure he did. There's plenty of deer. It's, we all have gardens, and when you plant vegetation, the deer will invade. And mountain lions have co-evolved. They are really going after the deer. So I picture him as we walk through. There is a lot of green space. You have Franklin Park and that sort of series of parks where there are deer. So mountain lions, what they will do, 250 square miles, they use that whole territory. They'll kill a deer, go 10 or 20 miles, kill a deer, go. So it's like they have their In-N-Out burger stops, right? That's pretty much what they're doing. So he, on that journey, was doing nothing different than any other mountain lion and just was finding deer sources. They do eat smaller animals like bobcats and raccoons and things
House
like that.
cats.
Yes, they do. I have 2 cats. They are indoor. I have 5 dogs. They are in a predator-friendly fence. I'd feel terrible if any of them were eaten, but these are, how many have cats, right? Cats are kind of jerks, right? I love cats, but if you put your cat in a room with 10 mice, even if they're not hungry, what do you think is going to happen? Yeah, well, mountain lions are no different. So if they're walking along and a house cat's outside, they're probably gonna take that opportunity.
And did he drink from swimming pools and bird baths, or how did they get water?
So here's what's really cool about mountain lions. Like, gosh, if we did a 10-mile hike and you forgot a water bottle, what do you think would happen? We would not have a fun time, right? Especially, God, I'm so glad to be here. It was very hot in LA today. But mountain lions actually get most of their hydration from blood. So they're not as dependent on water stops. Yeah, so there's a fun fact for you. Yeah, they're one-night stand daters. Yeah. They get most of their hydration from blood. And they are very prolific maters, 70 times a day when they're dating. Yeah.
And then there's He's even more. This cat is even more iconic than that. There's a photo of him that folks may have seen or could find online. What is that
Yeah.
photo?
And you're welcome to share it on your Facebook page. I sent it to you. Steve Winter, who we cannot thank enough, this is one of his photos. He's an international National Geographic photographer, and he's photographed big cats all over the world. He's donated the use of this in the Hollywood sign photo that you might have seen, P22 in front of the Hollywood sign, for our work, so we can use them. It took him 14 months to get that photo. It was remote camera triggered. And he said, this is a guy who's been all over the world, Africa, hiking through mud, getting bitten by your bugs, he's been charged by, water buffalo. And he says getting the P22 photo was the hardest thing he ever did, which I find really amusing.
And so, just really quickly, why did P22, do you think, leave the suburbs and move to the city in the first place?
It's pretty simple. It's sort of like the Lion King. He was escaping another male. Mountain lions will fight to the death over territory. So when they come of age, they have to go 250 square miles. And when you're living in the middle of the Los Angeles metropolitan area, you don't have a lot of options.
So over two of the busiest freeways on the planet, past one of the busiest museums on the planet, the Getty Museum, past the Ferraris and the Jaguars speeding down Mulholland.
Yep.
To Griffith Park,
Griffith
which
Park.
we've seen in so many movies.
Yeah.
Do you folks have an idea?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Something epic? I sense epic.
Maybe we can do something called song cue.
Well, I was going to
Song
say, he was very upset he didn't get a role in La La Land because it was in Griffith Park. So maybe you could rectify it.
Well, and just real quickly, he does have his own documentary, which was screening here at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival.
Yes, yep.
And that documentary
The
is
Cat
called
That Changed America.
The Cat That Changed America.
Not bad
P22.
for a small town boy, He's really made it big.
But if you want to support him, friend him on Facebook. All right, Beth, why don't you have a seat? Song cue.
Do you know, can we just explain, at any time during the scene that we're doing this, Dean will yell freeze, and the last sentence that we spoke is now the title of the song that we have to sing.
Yeah.
So at any time during
be
the...
kind.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to turn it over to one of your opponents.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Well, now they'll
Because
really.
they're more likely to roast you
Yes. All right.
than I will.
Okay. Here we go.
All right.
Hey, Beth, I got your tracking collar on you.
Great.
And before we get started, I just want you to know, even though I know you're married, I respect you for doing this, for traveling all the way from Agura to Griffith Park.
I'm going to do the whole journey just like P22.
I know, you said that.
And I want you to come with me.
No, I'm just a younger colleague. I have no business traveling out there. Oh, Beth.
Sorry, I needed hydration. I'm sorry. I don't know what got into me. I've really been spending too much time with him. I needed your blood. My
That's
bad.
all right.
Freeze! I needed your blood.
Sometimes a lady needs a drink. No matter what you may think, I shouldn't do it. I know that I shouldn't, but I needed your blood.
Oh, it's okay, Beth, you just bit me right on the neck. It doesn't matter, I just said, what the heck, it's all for science.
All for science.
It's really important
Yes,
for
it is.
science. I don't even care that you bit me in the neck.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
whew.
What is it, Beth?
I feel better now. I think I'm ready.
Okay, well, let's get going.
Let's get going on our hike.
Like I said, I respect you and your science. And like I know, I mentioned that your husband, I know you guys have been together for years. You've known each other since you were young. And
Yeah, since we were real young. But right now, I'm living the life of P22.
let's cross the freeway.
Let's do it. Take
Freeze!
my hand.
Let's cross the freeway.
Be careful!
Yeah,
Here comes a car!
be careful. There goes a car.
Be careful, Beth! Here comes a truck! Oh, let's cross it! Oh, what the heck! Let's cross! Let's cross! The 101! Crossing the 101!
Oh, you gotta look both ways before you cross. You gotta look both ways. Remember, I'm the boss. Now, come on.
You're the boss, Beth!
We're gonna cross that highway.
down, Beth. Put me down.
Oh, I got cougar blood!
Stop it. You're
Ow.
squeezing the blood out of my fresh
Sorry.
neck wound.
I know I'm being tracked. Look, I have a dream.
Oh, dream? What are you talking about? You can't just cross the freeway by building some sort of green bridge.
Green Bridge, that's
Put
what I'll
your
call
hand
it.
is in my mouth, Beth.
Green Bridge. I'm gonna build the green bridge that will save all the animals.
That's insane.
You're
Please.
insane.
That's insane.
All this time I thought you were really awesome. Tracking collar around your neck. You thought you were really great, Beth, but now the closer I look at you and your crazy ass ideas, I think there's something wrong upstairs. I think there's something wrong with you.
Oh, quit your crying. I've become a mountain lion. Now that I've got the collar on my neck, it's like I'm living inside him. And I'm gonna build my wilderness bridge. So you're either with me or you're against me. So you better come with me. Get on the train. Yeah, I've been drinking blood, but nobody calls me insane.
Okay. You're totally right. I just freaked out. I got a little scared. And Beth, I believe in you. You're not crazy.
Really?
Really. Okay, you're a little crazy. You're a little crazy, but it's a good crazy.
And I think that's all.
I think you're right.
Blackout. All right. P22, the musical. Judges' scores.
Uh-oh.
5.
Wow.
Okay.
What a softie.
5 and
Uh-oh.
a 5. Okay, now, while Doug is tabulating the scores, I've created a new wrap-up game to give
What?
Doug time to. I need all 4 actors on stage.
A new wrap-up game.
So,
Here we go.
put your hands together for Conrad Kono and Dr. Michael Schindler.
Yeah, man.
So let's do something like a rousing Broadway sort of Les Mis.
Oh. Sure.
Sure.
And you guys, this is called What I Learned Tonight.
Oh.
And it's going to come from the depths of your soul.
Okay.
All right.
And I want you to sing about something that really touched you tonight when you heard it for the first time, okay? So you can take turns. Maybe it's rhyming couplets. Maybe we'll go through once or twice.
Okay.
Never done this before. Ladies and gentlemen,
All right.
What I Learned Tonight.
There's a bridge across the highway. I can see it covered with leaves and vines, and it's my way. I can see freedom. I can see fun. Act like a sunset over the 101.
There's a bridge to tomorrow that every creature gets to cross. If we don't let them do it, it'll be our loss.
There's something I learned tonight, more important than a bridge, that's right. It's that in the insect world, women really rule. And if I could come back as anything, I'd be one of those crazy bugs, 'cause that would be cool. And I'd pick the sex of my kids, and I'd live forever. And everyone would serve me for 48 years. That's better than a bridge.
If you're a lady,
what I learned here tonight at the zoo.
What did you learn?
How much I love these kids. Oh, that's right, I'm talking to you.
Love those kids.
Even though you didn't pick us at the beginning of the show, you were right. I won't be mad at you, cause you helped us with our show. Yeah! Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! Yeah! Oh, yeah! I'm talking to you, cause that rhymes with zoo.
That's what I learned tonight. That's what I learned tonight. Come on. Learn
Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Kieran, Khalid, Holden, Bashar, Brian Lohman,
Hey-ya.
Michael McShane, the incomparable Conrad Koto on keyboards, and
Yeah.
Michael Schindlinger.
Yes, pal!
Yeah.
And folks,
Yeah.
the winner tonight, P22, the champion. Thanks for coming, folks. We'll let you know when this is up on the podcast. We'll see you in October for our next IMPROVology. Thanks for coming, folks. Follow me, crew.